It's sort of a perverse contest to find out who got the highest interest rate. And I got to tell you, I've gotten up to 13.8%. Can anybody beat that? 14 what? 18%? I think I've hit a winner. I mean, this is unbelievable. Interest rates have been historically low and they're going a lot lower. Student loan companies have been charging predatory rates of interest, and we should stop it now and go to direct lending. You know, when I was going to college, my father said he'd saved enough money for me to have room and board paid for, but if I wanted to buy a book, I had to earn the money, and that was our deal. And I worked all through college. Then I decided I wanted to go to law school, and I told my dad, and he said, that's not part of the deal. Well, that was okay. So I kept working, and I got a little scholarship, and I borrowed money directly from the federal government, from something called the National Defense Education Act. And I see some heads nodding. It was at about 2% interest. And I got the provision known as an income contingency loan. So when I graduated from law school, I didn't want to go to work for a big law firm. I wanted to go to work for the Children's Defense Fund, representing abused and neglected kids and foster kids and kids without health care and education. And I could do it because I was able to pay back my loans without worrying that I had to take a job that wasn't the job I wanted. And I now meet so many young people who say they can't do it. So here's what I think we should do. If you graduate with debt, if you already have debt, if you're willing to do a public service job like teaching or nursing or law enforcement, we will forgive your debt. We will give you a chance. I also want to start a public service academy. We have great military academies. I want a public service academy and all expenses paid education for young people who go into public service. And finally, I want to end the financial aid forms that families are forced to fill out. They get to the end and they're told they don't get any help anyway. As students or potential students to be able to continue your education, it's in everybody's interest. But I'm not only concerned about those of you who are at this great, great university, because most young people will not go to college and graduate. And I think it's time we paid more attention to the young men and women who build the buildings we live and work in, who often fight the wars that our country wages, who do a lot of the hard work that keeps the economy going. So let's also have more job training and apprenticeship programs and opportunities through community colleges to help train everyone who's willing to work for a job with a good future in the global economy. Because if we look at the pillars and the building blocks of a strong and prosperous middle class, good jobs, health care, education, a chance to save for retirement, something I believe so strongly in. Also, to provide more help to balance family and work. This is a really pressing issue. A lot of people are taking care of loved ones out of devotion and a sense of obligation, and they do this work and it's exhausting and it's financially draining. I think it's time we had an extended family and medical leave. We had more opportunities for flexible work schedules. We had long-term care tax credits. We had more home health aid, because we have to take care of the caregivers in America who take care of us. There's so much to be done that we know we're going to have a big agenda, but we've got to reform the government in order to make it happen. And we're going to inherit a lot of difficult problems as we see the changeover from the Bush-Cheney years. And it's imperative that we end the no-bid contracts and the cronyism and the corruption and the incompetence and the indifference that we have seen. And how about this for a radical idea? What about appointing qualified people again for the positions? We've got to take on the necessity of battling all of the special interests. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I know that we can put together the political coalitions that will withstand their incredible power. We've got to have doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals and business and labor standing with us against the insurance companies and the drug companies in order to get universal health care. I believe the time has come to put that coalition together. We also have to try to move toward public financing to take the money out of politics, to make it clear that the people in charge are the taxpayers and the citizens, not the special interests, not those who have a lot of access. And we have to fix our broken immigration system, which unfortunately has been turned into a political football. You know, I am more interested in solving problems than scoring political points. We have had more than enough of that. And anybody who looks at this immigration system knows that it's not working at all. And so let's get serious and practical. We do need to toughen and tighten border security. That's not only about immigration, that is about security. We need to have a system of knowing who's here and who's in and who's out. And actually 40% of the people who are here without documentation came originally legally. So this is not just about our southern border, it's about our northern border, it's about our airports and our ports of entry. You would think that since we are all connected up through the internet, we should get a system that can keep track of people. You can keep track of videos from Blockbuster. You ought to be able to keep track of people you give visas to who come into the United States.